Ladies, I want to talk to you today about something that happens to all of us at some point in life. You ever notice how sometimes you just can't get someone off your mind? No matter what you do, no matter how busy you are, that person keeps popping into your thoughts. Maybe it's a man. Maybe it's a woman. Maybe it's somebody you've known for years or somebody you just met. But there's something about them that won't let go. And I want to tell you, when someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just you feeling it. Something is happening in them too. It might sound crazy, but the way our minds work, the way our energy flows, and the way we focus on people can have effects that go beyond just thinking. So pay attention, because there are three things happening when someone is constantly on your mind. And these are things you need to know. First, it affects your emotions in ways you may not even realize. You see, when you think about someone constantly, your heart starts to react to them. Even when they're not around, you feel happy when you think about them. Even if you're in the middle of a stressful day, you feel sad when they're gone, even if they haven't done anything wrong. And it's not just little feelings, it's deep, like a current running through your heart and mind. You might catch yourself smiling at a memory, laughing at something they said, or feeling frustrated because you can't reach them. And here's the thing, emotions are contagious. The way you feel affects the way you act, the way you carry yourself, and even the way people respond to you. Your thoughts about them are shaping your life, whether you realize it or not. When your mind is focused on someone, it's like you've given them a seat inside your heart. That seat is reserved just for them. And no matter how much you try, you can't push them out. Second, when someone is on your mind all the time, it changes your actions, sometimes in ways that surprise you. You might find yourself doing things you wouldn't normally do. Maybe you check your phone too often, hoping for a message or a sign that they're thinking about you too. Maybe you start acting differently around people, aligning your energy with the thoughts you carry about them. And sometimes it's the little things that matter. Maybe you listen to songs they like, eat at places they like, or laugh at jokes you normally wouldn't. All of these little actions are proof that your mind is influencing your behavior. Your thoughts are not just thoughts, they are power. And when you focus that power on someone, it starts affecting everything you do. People don't often realize this. But when you're thinking about someone constantly, you are, in essence, sending out a message. Your mind is broadcasting your attention, your heart, your care. And that energy doesn't disappear, it lingers. It might even reach them in ways that aren't obvious, because humans are more connected than we think. Third, your energy changes when someone is on your mind all the time. And I don't just mean that in a mystical sense. I mean in a very real, tangible way. When you're preoccupied with someone, your presence in the world shifts. You walk differently. You talk differently. People notice. They can feel that there's something in your heart, that your mind is somewhere else. And sometimes the person you're thinking about can feel it too. They might not know why, but they sense it. Maybe they start thinking about you without realizing why. Maybe they feel drawn to you. Maybe they act differently when they're around you. This is not magic, it's human connection. Your constant thoughts, your energy, your focus, it all matters. You can't separate your mind from your impact. What you think about, you broadcast. And if your thoughts are strong enough, persistent enough, they can touch the other person in ways that are subtle but real. Now let's talk about something even deeper. When someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just about them, it's about you. It forces you to look at yourself. It forces you to face what you really want. It forces you to confront your fears. Are you thinking about them because you love them? Because you admire them? Or because you're afraid to be alone? Are you thinking about them because you're ready to act? Or are you just sitting there wishing and hoping and wondering what could be? That's the part most people miss. They think constant thoughts are just a nuisance or maybe a sign of weakness. But no, it's a mirror. It's a reflection of your heart and your desires and your readiness for life. And if you pay attention, if you really pay attention, you'll see patterns. You'll see what you truly care about. You'll see the actions you need to take. You'll see the growth that's waiting for you. Think about it, every great connection in life, every meaningful relationship started in the mind and the heart before it ever showed up in reality. You think about someone long before you act. You feel them in your heart long before they're in your arms. You set out energy, you make choices, you create your path toward them, even when you don't fully realize it. And that's why it matters, because your mind is powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. And when someone is on your mind all the time, it's a signal that something big is happening inside you and maybe inside them too. So pay attention to what happens When you think about someone constantly, notice your emotions, notice your actions, notice your energy. Watch how the world starts to shift around you, because this isn't just daydreaming. This is life. This is connection. This is the invisible thread that ties people together long before words are spoken. And if you're smart, you'll learn to harness it, understand it, and maybe even act on it. Because I'll tell you something else. When someone is on your mind all the time, it's not a coincidence. It's not random. There's a reason. It's the universe telling you, the heart telling you, your mind telling you, pay attention to it and watch how it changes not just your world, but the world of the person you're thinking about too. And remember, thoughts are powerful. Focus is powerful, and love, real love, deep care can move mountains. When someone is on your mind all the time, it's more than just thoughts. It's action, it's energy, it's life in motion. It's a signal that something meaningful is happening, and it's up to you to notice it, respect it, and maybe follow where it leads. Let's talk about something that happens to every single one of us at some point, whether we want to admit it or not. You ever find yourself thinking about someone so much that it feels like they are constantly there, like they've taken up permanent residence in your mind? Maybe it's a man. Maybe it's a woman. Maybe it's somebody you just met. Maybe it's somebody you've known your whole life, but for some reason, you can't stop thinking about them. You try to focus on work, on friends, on other responsibilities, but your mind keeps circling back to them. That's powerful, and I want you to understand why. Because when someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just a little distraction, it's something deeper, something that changes you, and it changes them too in ways that you may not even realize. First, it affects your emotional state in profound ways. Your emotions start responding to them even when they're not around. Think about it. How many times have you smiled for no reason, just because a thought of them popped into your head? Or how many times have you felt that twinge of sadness or frustration just because you couldn't reach them? Or because you were worried about what they were doing or who they were with? Your heart begins to react automatically, and it's powerful. It can influence your mood, your decisions, even your physical state. Emotions aren't just in your head. They affect your energy, your confidence, your ability to interact with the world. And when you're thinking about someone all the time, those emotions start shaping you in ways that are subtle, but real. You're not just thinking about them, you're feeling them. You're carrying a piece of them in your heart. And when your heart is carrying that, it starts to reflect in every part of your life. Second, your actions begin to shift. You might not notice it at first, but it happens. Maybe you check your phone more often than usual. Maybe you replay conversations in your head, thinking about what you should have said or what you want to say next. Maybe you start acting differently around mutual friends, or maybe you find yourself making choices that align with the life you imagine with them. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be small, almost invisible changes, like choosing a restaurant they would like, wearing something you know they'd compliment, laughing at jokes they'd find funny. Those are all actions influenced by your thoughts, by your mind, by your heart's focus on them. And these little actions are not meaningless. They create energy. They send signals into the universe. They shift the way people perceive you. And maybe, just maybe, that person starts noticing subtle changes too. There's an invisible current that flows from our thoughts into our actions, and from our actions into the world. When you're thinking about someone constantly, you're contributing to that current, whether you know it or not. Third, your energy and presence are affected. When someone occupies your mind day and night, your entire being starts to shift. You carry yourself differently, your vibe changes, your energy radiates something that other people can feel. People around you might notice that you're distracted, that you're in a different mental state, and the person you're thinking about, they might feel it too, even if they can't put it into words. Energy is a powerful thing. You can think of it like this. Your mind is constantly broadcasting, and your emotion are the signal. When someone is on your mind, your signal goes out into the world, and sometimes it reaches them without you even speaking a word. This is why you can think about someone and then suddenly they reach out. Or you feel drawn to each other. It's more than coincidence. It's human connection, it's energy in motion, and it's a real force. And here's something else most people miss when someone is on your mind all the time. It's not just about them. It's about you too. It forces you to examine yourself, to face your desires, to confront your fears. Why are you thinking about them so much? Are you thinking about them because you're in love or because you're lonely? Are you thinking about them because you want to act or because you're afraid of rejection? Are you thinking about them because they bring out the best in you or because they trigger insecurities you've been avoiding. Constant thoughts are a mirror showing you what's really going on inside your heart. And when you pay attention, you learn something important about yourself. You learn what you value, what you're ready for, and what you need to change. Think about it for a second. Every important relationship, every meaningful connection started with thoughts. You think about someone before you act. You imagine them in your life before they're in it. You feel them in your heart before they're in your arms. Your constant thoughts are like a blueprint, a roadmap, showing you where your emotions and desires are taking you. And if you ignore it, you miss the signal. But if you notice it, if you respect it, if you follow it, it can lead you to something real, something meaningful, something life-changing. And here's the thing about humans. We are wired to respond to energy. We respond to focus, to attention, to care. When you think about someone constantly, your energy changes in a way that can influence them. Even if indirectly, they might notice your attention without knowing why. They might feel drawn to you. They might start thinking about you in return. You can't force it and it's not guaranteed, but there's a real effect that takes place. And it starts with the simple act of thinking, of caring, of noticing. So when someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just about obsession. It's not just about infatuation. It's a signal of your emotions, your actions, your energy, and your growth. It's the universe giving you a nudge. It's your heart speaking, your mind broadcasting, and your soul reminding you that connections matter, that thoughts are more powerful than most people believe, that love, care, and attention are forces that move through the world in ways we cannot always see. And the truth is, these things happen whether you're aware of them or not. Your emotions are influenced. Your actions are influenced. Your energy is influenced. You are changing, growing, and learning. And the person you think about is feeling it too, even if they don't know it yet. That's the beauty and the mystery of human connection. And if you pay attention, you'll see that nothing about this is random. Every thought, every feeling, every little shift in your life is meaningful. It's teaching you something, guiding you somewhere, preparing you for something. So the next time you catch yourself thinking about someone all the time, don't just dismiss it. Don't just brush it off as a distraction or a habit. Notice what's happening inside you. Notice how it affects your emotions, how it changes your actions, how it shifts your energy. And notice the subtle effects it might be having on the person you're thinking about too. This is life in motion. This is connection. This is energy. This is how humans are wired to care, to love, to influence, and to grow. And if you pay attention, if you respect it, if you act with intention, it can lead to something extraordinary, not just for you, but for the other person as well. Because thoughts are not just thoughts. They are signals. They are energy. They are power. And when someone is on your mind all the time, it's proof that your heart and mind are working in ways that matter, in ways that connect, in ways that move the world quietly, but powerfully every single day. I want you to think about something for a second. You ever find yourself constantly thinking about someone like they just won't leave your mind? Maybe it's someone you love, someone you're attracted to, someone who's made a big impact on your life. And it doesn't matter what you do. You try to focus on work. You try to hang out with friends. You try to distract yourself, but somehow that person keeps coming back into your thoughts like they've got a permanent, very important person pass in your brain. Now, I want to tell you something that a lot of people don't realize. When someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just your thoughts that are affected. The energy you're putting out, the focus you're getting, the emotions you're experiencing, they all have a way of touching that other person, whether you know it or not. And that's something powerful. The first thing that happens is emotional influence. You see, when you think about someone constantly, your heart starts to work overtime. You're happy when you think about them. You're sad when you don't hear from them. You might feel anxious or excited, nervous or hopeful. Your emotions become tied to them in ways that are subtle but deep. And here's the thing, emotions are contagious. Humans are wired to pick up on each other's emotional signals. So when you are thinking about someone, worrying about them, caring for them, or missing them, your emotions radiate outward. People around you might notice it. And that person, if they're even loosely connected to your energy, might sense it too. That's why sometimes you'll catch someone looking at you strangely or acting differently around you, and you don't even understand why. There's an invisible influence happening. Your constant thought about them create ripples. And these ripples can shape the way they feel, the way they act, and the way they think. It's real, it's powerful, and it's often overlooked. Second, your actions begin to shift when someone occupies your thoughts constantly. It affects how you behave. You might start doing little things you wouldn't normally do. Maybe you send a message. Maybe you check your phone obsessively. Maybe you replay conversations in your head. Maybe you act differently around mutual friends or social settings. Maybe you find yourself aligning your choices with the preference of that person, like subconsciously trying to get closer to them. And even when you don't act directly, your energy is still broadcasting. Think about it. Every action we take, every little choice we make sends signals to the world around us. And when your mind is focused on someone, those signals are influenced by your thoughts about them. Maybe it's a compliment you give. Maybe it's a change in the way you smile or laugh. Maybe it's a small gesture that seems insignificant to you, but speaks volumes to them. These actions, even when subtle, are ways your mind and heart communicate with the other person without words. Third, your energy and presence change, whether you realize it or not. When you think about someone constantly, your energy shifts. You walk differently. You talk differently. You carry yourself differently. People can sense it. And the person you're thinking about, they can feel it too. Maybe they don't understand why. Maybe they don't even know you're thinking about them. But there's a shift in the dynamic. Humans pick up on these subtle cues, whether it's body language, tone of voice, or emotional energy. And sometimes this is how attraction and connection grow long before words are spoken. Your constant thoughts are sending signals through your presence, through your energy, through the way you interact with the world. And those signals can trigger feelings in the other person, even if they aren't aware of it. That's how relationships begin, how bonds form, and how hearts start to align. It all starts in the mind, in thought, in focus. And here's something most people don't think about when someone is on your mind all the time. It's also a reflection of your own growth and desires. It forces you to confront your feelings, your priorities, your readiness. Are you thinking about them because you truly care? Are you thinking about them because you're in love? Or because you're afraid of being alone? Are you thinking about them because they inspire you to be better, or because they fill a gap you're trying to ignore in your own life? Those thoughts are a mirror. They show you who you are, what you value, and what you need to do next. And if you're smart, you'll pay attention to those signals because they are guiding you toward decisions, actions, and personal growth. Think about the energy again. Every thought you have sends a signal. When you're constantly thinking about someone, that signal is persistent, consistent, and strong. It doesn't just vanish. Your mind, your heart, and your focus are creating a vibration that travels out into the world. And that vibration can influence how the other person perceives you, how they feel, and sometimes even how they act. This is why people say, you can't force love, but you can create connection. And it all starts in your mind. What you think about constantly has the potential to shape reality. It's more than just imagination, it's preparation. It's energy in motion. And let me tell you something about timing. Sometimes, when someone is on your mind all the time, it's also about preparation. You're being prepared to recognize what's important. You're being prepared to act. You're being prepared to connect on a deeper level. And maybe the other person is being prepared too, without either of you realizing it. Life has a way of moving people into each other's paths when the timing is right. And your thoughts, your care, your focus, all of that energy can be part of that preparation. That's why paying attention to these constant thoughts is so important, because it's telling you something about your own readiness and about the natural movement of connection. So when you're thinking about someone constantly, notice how your emotions shift. Notice how your actions subtly change. Notice how your energy radiates and affects those around you, including that person. These are real, tangible effects. These are the three things happening when someone is on your mind all the time. And once you recognize it, you can start to harness it, respect it, and even act on it in ways that benefit both you and the other person. Because your mind and your heart are not just internal, they reach out, they connect, they influence, and they prepare the way for meaningful connections. This is why people fall in love before they even speak. This is why bonds form in silence. This is why constant thought matters. It's a force that moves quietly but powerfully, shaping emotions, actions, energy, and ultimately connection. When someone occupies your mind day and night, it's not obsession, it's influence. It's not just longing, it's power. And it's real, it's human. And it's something you can notice, understand, and act on. You ever notice how some people just don't leave your mind? Day in, day out, no matter what you're doing, they're there. Maybe it's someone you love, someone you desire, someone who's made an impression so strong it's like they carved a space in your heart and mind. And here's the thing, when someone is on your mind all the time, it's not just a coincidence. It's not just random thoughts wandering around. There's a reason, and there are effects, real, tangible effects, not just on you, but on them too. I want you to really hear this because most people miss it. When you think about someone constantly, three major things are happening to that person, even if they're not aware of it. And the crazy part is, you don't even have to say a word. It all starts in your mind, your energy, and your heart. The first thing that happens is emotional influence. When someone is on your mind constantly, the energy of your thoughts and feelings starts to travel. It's like invisible threads connecting hearts. You're thinking about them, wondering about them, caring for them, wishing good things for them. And all of that creates an emotional pull. You might think it's only affecting you, but energy doesn't work like that. People are sensitive to emotional frequencies. You've probably experienced this yourself. Maybe you felt a mood shift because someone was around, or you picked up on someone else's feelings without them saying a word. That's what's happening here. The person you're thinking about might start feeling drawn to you, even if they can't pinpoint why. They might notice subtle changes in how you interact, or even start thinking about you in return. Your thoughts are more powerful than you think. They can influence moods, spark curiosity, and create an emotional resonance that slowly builds connection. The second thing that happens is behavioral influence. Your constant thoughts often lead to subtle changes in your behavior, and those changes don't go unnoticed. Maybe you start smiling more when they're around. Maybe you act more confident. Maybe you unconsciously mimic gestures or speech patterns that align with them. These are small, almost invisible adjustments, but they matter. Humans notice patterns, energy, and subtle cues. The person you're thinking about might start responding to those cues, even without understanding why. And sometimes you might find that your own behaviors have shifted in ways you didn't realize. Checking your phone, replaying memories, planning your day around the possibility of interacting with them. These are all actions rooted in the mind, triggered by constant thought. And the power of these actions is that they can spark reactions in the other person, creating a feedback loop that strengthens connection without either of you consciously trying. The third thing that happens is a shift in presence and energy. When someone occupies your thoughts continuously, your energy changes. You carry yourself differently. Your aura shifts. Your vibe radiates something that others can feel. And yes, the person on your mind can feel it too, even if they're not fully aware of what's happening. They might notice the way you look at them, the way you engage, or the subtle way your mood has changed when they're around. Energy is a language all its own. It communicates without words. It moves in ways that are subtle but powerful. And the more often someone is on your mind, the stronger that energy becomes. It's like a magnetic field. Constant thought creates consistent energy, and consistent energy draws attention and emotional responses from the other person. That's why people often feel a pull toward each other before they ever speak or act consciously. It's invisible, but it's undeniable. And here's the part most people overlook. When you think about someone all the time, it's also a reflection of your own readiness. Your heart, your mind, your emotions are sending signals to yourself about what you truly want, what you care about, and what you're ready to pursue. Are you thinking about them because you truly admire them? Are you thinking about them because your heart recognizes a connection? Are you thinking about them because it's time for action? Constant thoughts force you to confront your feelings and intentions. They reveal desires, highlight fears, and show you what you're ready to invest in emotionally. And when you acknowledge this, you can use it to act consciously rather than just letting thoughts linger and go nowhere. You can turn what's in your mind into meaningful decisions, actions, and interactions. Think about it like this. Every time someone occupies your thoughts, you're sending out signals through your emotions, your energy, and your behavior. Those signals reach the other person in ways that aren't always obvious. They might start thinking about you. They might start acting differently around you. They might feel curious or drawn to you without knowing why. And then you, on the other side, are growing in awareness of your feelings, your desires, and your capacity to influence connection. It's a two-way street, even if one side isn't consciously aware of it. And there's another layer to this. The universe has a way of moving people into each other's lives when the timing is right. Your constant thoughts, your focus, your energy, they're all part of that timing. They prepare you and they prepare the other person, whether consciously or subconsciously. Life works in mysterious ways, but energy, intention, and thought are part of how connections manifest. This is why paying attention to who occupies your mind matters. It's not just about obsession. It's not just about longing. It's about recognizing signals, understanding influence, and noticing how emotional, behavioral, and energetic threads are weaving together. So when someone is constantly on your mind, notice the emotional shifts in them, because your energy can influence how they feel. Notice the subtle behavioral changes because your focus and actions may be impacting their responses. Notice the shift in presence and energy because it can create invisible pulls, attracting attention and curiosity. And notice your own growth in all of this because your heart, mind, and thoughts are teaching you about what you care about, what you want, and how you're evolving emotionally. Every thought you send, every emotion you feel, every little action you take, all of it matters. It's more than imagination. It's influence. It's connection. It's preparation. When someone is on your mind all the time, it's not a random thing. It's part of life's way of moving hearts, shifting energy, and guiding relationships towards something real. You might not see it immediately. You might not understand it fully, but the effects are there, quietly working, shaping emotions, behavior, and connections that may one day become something extraordinary.